Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Now it's time to discover your legal issue blind spots by listening to me talk about the law on the radio. And today we're going to be talking about tax law with CPA Mark Nelson. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Todd. I'm glad to be here. We already got a Happy New Year, and I guess you said the statute of limitations has passed for wishing people a Happy New Year.
So that's the last Happy New Year you'll hear from us. Tell us about your experience and your business.
Okay. Well, I have a two-partner firm with about 15 people, which can go up to 20 based off how many interns we have coming in and out. And we're a local firm here in San Antonio. We're primarily a tax firm, but we do prepare financial statements, do compilations, reviews, which is kind of a mini audit. You know, we don't do full-blown audits like public companies have to have. But if we do have a client that needs one, you know, we can refer that out. Our main focus is, closely held businesses and individuals, high wealth individuals that have complicated situations. And, we're not after we're not trying to compete with H&R Block, strip center tax practice. We have a number of family groups, that have a lot of investments, rental properties, royalties, have a lot of retirement assets, and, they need a lot of help with planning and making estimated payments. And we do have our largest client, which we recently got, is about $200 million in gross revenue. And so we've got some big companies, which we're comfortable with, that have international issues and also multi-state issues. And that's something that I'm comfortable with because this year I'll be my 40th year in the profession.
Okay.
So I've worked in, small CPA firm, of course, now a large CPA firm, Arthur Anderson. I worked in a large public company, a little firm who's now called AT&T.
Wow.
And we're in the tax department, and have worked in a small company. So I've kind of seen it all, so to speak.
You have a lot of experience.
Yeah. So I'm comfortable, working with big companies, or with, individuals, small, closely held businesses. And, I've done we do a lot of IRS controversy work. At any one time, we've got a handful of clients that have IRS issues going on. Mm-hmm. We can handle IRS audits, answering notices, working with the taxpayer advocate to solve those problems. And, people get very frightened when they get a notice from the IRS, but really the key is that as long as you communicate with them, you're going to be okay. But if you stick your head in the sand, then you're going to have problems.
Right. Yeah. Well, you work with Financial Planning HQ as a subject matter expert for some of their clients.
Right.
Tell us about that. What's it like to work with them and their clients?
Okay. Well, I'm like Joseph is saying, they're the financial quarterback, so to speak, that stays in communication and has periodic meetings with the subject matter experts. Mm-hmm. And we, throughout the year, when we have a mutual client, we'll have meetings, and, I'll run a tax projection, to make sure they're on track with their estimated payments, or if we've put a tax strategy in place, that it's on track. Mm-hmm. And that it's coordinated with the the quarterback and with the legal people.
Yep.
And the number one rule in the tax world is no surprises. Mm-hmm. And that happens a lot. Mm-hmm. And you were asking Joseph about, big hiccups. And so that's something we want to avoid at all costs. Mm-hmm. And then beyond that, it's coming up with planning ideas and implementing those and make sure they happen, and which takes a lot of follow-up and a lot of detail.
Joseph, what's it like to work with Mark Nelson, CPA?
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Him and his team are extremely well versed in the tax law. They understand all the nuances and the strategies, and it's really fun hearing the ideas that you all come up with when we have those groups with the money manager there, and just having those people all together and the ideas they come up with together and how they understand how one discipline impacts the other. It's fun. I learned a lot from it. There's a lot of cool ideas that we've implemented for clients, like backdoor Roth conversions, family limited partnerships, even getting into setting up legal entities to save on taxes. So it's a really great experience. I've always enjoyed it, and I just like that they're committed to helping us create excellent strategies for our clients.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, this is Talk Law Radio. I'm Todd Marquardt here with CPA Mark Nelson and financial planner Joseph Warren, and we're talking about some hidden legal issue blind spots in tax law. And one of them, the big thing this year is H.R. 1 Tax Act, which is formerly known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Tell us what's new on the horizon. What should people be asking about?
Well, from a 30,000-foot level, it basically keeps in place the tax rules that came into place in Trump's first administration in 2017. They lowered the top rate. Under Obama was 39.6, and now it's 37%. And basically, almost everything was going to go back to the way it was before 2017, after this year, had H.R. 1 not been passed. And so it keeps into place all of these measures that Trump put into place in his first administration, but also adds some things. And I know before we went on the air, we talked about the new, $40,000 limitation on property taxes as a itemized deduction, which, so many clients don't itemize anymore because, that's one reason. Is because they can only deduct $10,000 of their property tax and sales tax. So this, that's going to help them. We also have a non-itemizer deduction for auto interest, or it can be taken as an itemized deduction. And we also have a non-itemizer charitable contribution deduction, up to $2,000 for married filing jointly, which contributions can also be taken as an itemized deduction as well. And so the big thing for business, of course, is the 100% bonus depreciation coming back.
Great.
Because it has been phased down to, 60% for 2024, and now it's back up to 100%.
And so what does that mean?
That means assets that a business buys, as long as it's not real property, can be deducted, 100% of it, the cost can be deducted in the year of acquisition or the year it's placed in service. So if you have a business and you buy equipment, then you can deduct 100% of it in that year that you buy it and place it in service.
Okay.
And so that's a huge benefit.
So manufacturing.
Right. Everything, the rules get into the depreciation class lives. Real property for commercial is 39 years, rental property is 27 and a half years. But basically everything with a 20-year or less tax life, will qualify for bonus depreciation or Section 179 depreciation, which is similar but has other limitations and criteria, and the limits for that have been raised as well.
Okay. Joseph, have you learned anything about the new tax act that you're excited about?
Yeah, I feel like Mark did a great job on that. I think the bonus depreciation is a huge part of it, just that ability.
That's huge. I
actually have a question about that if I can ask it. Does it have to be like all in 1 year, or could you like fine tune it where it's 50% 1 year, 50% the other? If that's possible.
Yeah, I believe you can elect, asset by asset if you want to.
So you could kind of do it that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard a lot of things. I mean, a lot of it is helpful for people in different situations, business owners. There's a new Trump accounts that came out, which is something. But I was actually reading something saying that maybe a UTMA might be better tax-wise than that. There's new rules for charitable deductions.
Does your new baby qualify for the Trump money?
My older daughter doesn't, but my son Luke, yes, he does.
Okay.
And $1,000, I mean, I'll take it any day.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and a lot of it, letting the experts do their work. So, Mark is very well versed in that, and when we're creating strategies, would ask him those questions, and he would come up with the idea. But we know the basics of the strategy and just making sure that the client is getting the best advice possible when it comes to minimizing taxes, maximizing their investments in all aspects of their finances.
I got a question about the phase out on IRA deductions. If a married couple is earning more than $250,000 a year, and one spouse has a 401k that's employer sponsored and the other spouse does not, and wants to contribute to an IRA, but it's not going to be deductible, what type of retirement planning can they do? I'll ask the same question to both of you.
Well, I would consider doing a Roth conversion, which means there's an income limitation on making a direct Roth IRA contribution, which is probably around $200,000 now. It gets indexed each year, but there is a loophole around it, and which hasn't been closed to my knowledge, where you can make the traditional non-deductible IRA contribution, and then you can convert it to a Roth. And then you get the benefit of the Roth, where you can't deduct it anyway, and then when you withdraw it, the earnings, the whole thing, earnings principal, are non-taxable.
Okay, and so Joseph, how does that work in practice? You make the deposit into the traditional IRA account, and then you move the money from that account to the Roth account?
Yeah. And that's a great point, because sometimes you hear do a backdoor Roth, but it's if you make a mistake there, that could be very costly.
Okay.
So you take after-tax money, usually in a checking account, a bank account, you move it to your IRA, noting that it's after tax. And then from there, you convert that over to a new Roth. And one big thing to look out for is a pro rata rule. So you want to make sure that that's your only IRA that you have. Otherwise, you'll be taxed pro rata on the IRAs that you already have. So they'll force you to, if you have, say, a $300,000 IRA, most of it's going to be taxed when you do the conversion.
Okay. Yep. Well, got to have an expert, right?
Yep.
We got to take another break. Just remember to tell your friends about this episode of Talk Law Radio, because they might be itemizing their deductions. They might not be itemizing their deductions. And we just learned of 2 strategies that they can claim as deductions even if they don't itemize. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.